Hello, I'm Larry Pond, and today I'm going to talk about the Hurricane Helene tax relief recently provided by the IRS. So let's get started. My name is Larry Pond, and my tax credentials are I'm CPA, an EA, and a USTCP, and my financial planning credentials are CFP, PFS, and AEP. I am located in Redwood Shores, California. I've been a tax professional since 1986, and I speak nationally to tax professionals and financial advisors about tax updates. And I also teach income tax at the College of San Mateo. So let's get started with the Hurricane Helene tax relief. So on October 1st, the IRS announces disaster relief for all individuals and businesses affected by Hurricane Helene. So this includes the entire states of Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and parts of Florida, Tennessee, and Virginia. What it means is you don't have to be affected by the hurricane or even suffered any damage. It's just that you reside in these areas or your businesses are located in these areas. So, what this relief means is that taxpayers in these areas have until May the 1st, 2025, to file various federal, individual, and business tax returns and to make tax payments. So these areas are designated by FEMA. So besides all of Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, it includes 41 counties in Florida, 8 counties in Tennessee, and 6 counties and 1 city in Virginia. So what the relief provides is it postpones the tax filing and payment deadlines that occurred beginning on September 22nd, 2024 in Alabama, September 23rd in Florida, September 25th in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, and September 26th in Tennessee. And this relief period ends on May the 1st, 2025. So what does this cover? This May 1st, 2025 cover? Well, any individual or business that has a 2024 tax return normally due during March or April of 2025, which means your 1040, your 1120, your 1120S, your 1065, your 1041, you got till May 1st, 2025 to file and to pay any tax due without any penalties or interest. Any individual, business, or tax-exempt organization that has a valid extension to file their 2023 federal return. So this is why I always recommend that file an extension for your return because that buys you some extra time. So always file an extension. However, this deadline does not apply to the payments for these tax returns, for these 2023 returns, because the taxes would have been normally due either March 15th of 2024 or April 15th of 2024. So therefore, the payments for the 2023 returns are not eligible for extra time. However, the 2024 quarterly estimated payments normally due on January 15th, 2025, and the 2025 estimated income tax payments normally due April 15th, 2025, may be postponed without an interest or penalty to May the 1st, 2025. Now, quarterly payroll and excise tax returns are normally due on October 31st, 2024, January 31st, 2025, and April 30th, 2025 are now due on May the 1st, 2025. And this includes any payments due on those returns. Now, this relief is automatic. The IRS will automatically grant relief for taxpayers with an address in the disaster location. So there's no application, there's no forms you need to fill out to get this relief. However, the IRS computers are not the smartest. So you might get a penalty notice, or your clients might get a penalty notice. If you get a penalty notice, call the number on the notice to have the penalty abated. They'll ask some identifying questions and maybe some proof of what their address is. An example would be a client who has a business in the affected areas, but they live somewhere else. That's a common fact pattern. So something like that. But the IRS gave us a phone number, 866-562-5227, for taxpayers who qualify for relief but live outside the disaster area, or they might have moved right after the hurricane. And when we've seen many news stories about people in that situation. Now, not just for people who live in these areas, but also relief is applied to relief workers who are affiliated with a recognized government or philanthropic organization. So I know people from throughout the country are coming to the Southeast to help with recovery efforts. All right, so besides this delay in filing and payment, there's additional tax relief. So individuals and businesses in a federally declared disaster area who suffered uninsured or unreimbursed disaster-related loss can claim a loss on their 2024 or 2023 tax returns. You have until October 15th of 2025 to make this election. So Congress included this provision many years ago to allow taxpayers to get refunds a lot quicker than waiting to file their tax returns. However, of course, we got to do some tax planning to see which return will give us a better result, the 23 return or the 24 return. Now, this is filed with Form 4684, Casualties and Thefts. Now, this is on the first page of the Form 4684 because these are for personal casualties and losses. Now, on the upper right corner of the form, make sure you include the FEMA declaration number to claim the loss. In the resources section of the slide deck, we have a list of resources, and FEMA's given us the declaration numbers depending on which location you're located in. So there's a different declaration number for each one. So don't leave that blank because it'll definitely cause this to be either rejected or audited. So of course, we have to have good documentation of losses. But before we even go here, we want to make sure our clients are taking full advantage of their insurance policies. Apply to the insurance company as soon as possible. Get in contact with them. I'm sure all the insurance company adjusters are descending in the area to make assessments, and sometimes they're just issuing checks really quickly before the whole process is started. So sometimes they're issuing checks or vouchers, providing temporary housing. So it depends on your policy. And to see what's covered and what's not covered. And of course, before any disaster occurs, we want to make sure we do a check on our insurance policies. Does it provide adequate coverage? Are we doing what we can to mitigate the damages and all those sorts of things? Also, qualified disaster relief payments are generally tax-free. They're generally excluded from gross income. This is the case if it's received from a government agency for reasonable and necessary personal, family, living, or funeral expenses. And this also includes repair or rehabilitation of their home, also repair or replacement of its contents. So if we meet these rules, any relief payments are tax-free. However, other payments your clients might be getting could be taxable. For example, commonly they might be receiving payments for unemployment. Well, that will be taxable. All right. Also, there are what's called disaster distributions from retirement plans, which includes IRAs. Now, if it's a disaster distribution, the taxpayers may be eligible to take a special disaster distribution if you're under age 59 and a half and still not be subject to the 10% early distribution tax. Also, this will allow the taxpayer to spread the income over 3 years. Instead of paying the tax all on the 24 return, we get a spread over 3 years. Also, you have 3 years to pay it back, so the distribution will not be taxable. Now, if you're taking money from a employer retirement plan, they have different rules. So check the employer retirement plan for specific rules and guidance. And This would be reported in the summary plan description. So check with the providers on that to see if this makes sense as a source of money to help our clients get through the disaster relief. Now, not only did the IRS give us some release, the FinCEN also extended the FBAR deadline. FBAR is a foreign bank account reporting form 114 with FinCEN. This is for reporting overseas bank accounts. So what FinCEN gave us is that if you're affected by Hurricane Helene, your deadline is now May the 1st, 2025. Now, if you're affected by Hurricane Debbie, Hurricane Beryl, and Tropical Storm Francine, the deadline will be February 3rd, 2025. Now, there's a bit of overlap here because I know Hurricane Debbie kind of had some overlap with Helene. And so, such as those of you in South Carolina, you would have the original extension to February 3rd. Now it's been extended to May the 1st. So, of course, we're expecting to see some relief for Hurricane Milton. That's going to hit Florida pretty hard, and we'll see what's the aftermath of that. So, of course, when I saw this press release, I got really excited about the Corporate Transparency Act with the Beneficial Ownership Information Fund, the BOI. Now, the deadline for that is December 31st, 2024 for existing business entities such as LLCs and corporations. So no word from FinCEN about getting some extra time to get those filed. So let's work together on this. Let's contact your member of Congress to give them some pressure saying, hey, I mean, the IRS gave us relief. If FinCEN gave relief for the FBAR filing, how about the beneficial ownership interest reporting, the BOI? Can we get some relief there? Send letters to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, because Janet Yellen has stated many, many times in press conferences and announcements that no, the Treasury Department will not extend the BOI deadline. Well, let's see if we can put some pressure. Contact your member of Congress. If they hear from enough of us, maybe we can get some relief. So let's see what we can do to help that out. So fortunately, not all of us have been affected directly by Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. But here's how you can help. The United Way is doing a lot of good work in the area. So I have a link to the Hurricane Helene relief through United Way. Now that's the overall area. However, you can go specific to your local United Way if you want to. There's the United Way of North Carolina. There's the Suncoast United Way. And I'm sure they're going to really need our help with Hurricane Milton. And then United Way of Asheville and Buncombe County. And they got a specific website for Hurricane Helene. United Way of Henderson County and United Way of the Piedmont. So if you want to give directly there. Also, there's the American Red Cross. They're doing a lot of on-the-ground relief work right now with temporary housing and all those sorts of relief efforts. So here's a link to the Hurricane Helene relief. Also, below that is the donation tab. I'm personally a supporter of World Central Kitchen. And they're all over the world providing food to people in need. So I donated, a couple of years ago when Russia invaded Ukraine. So that was my first time donating to them. But now there's so many other opportunities of where World Central Kitchen's helping. So the top one is the WCK.org takes you to their website, and then you can click to Hurricane Helene specifically. I try to copy the donate URL, but it comes out really long. So that's what I copied. That's for donating directly. And so these could be charged to your credit card. We'll talk a little bit more about donations in a second, tax blanket donations. And then there's also United Policy Holders. So they're a group, a very good nonprofit that helps policyholders because, as you know, when you call your insurance company to make a claim, they're going to send their adjuster there. And who does the adjuster work for? The insurance company. They don't work for the policyholder. They don't work for you. And I'm located in California. We've had our share of wildfires. And unfortunately, I've had a lot of first-hand experience with many, many clients who lost everything in the wildfires and having to deal with the insurance companies. It's not easy. I have yet to see a client have a smooth situation with their insurance company. If you have, I'd love to hear about it. The other challenge we're having here in California is that a lot of people's insurance is not being renewed. So there's an insurance crisis with that, or either it's not being renewed or the premiums have gone up significantly. So, but United policyholders are advocating for the our clients, the policy holders, so they can use our support. So when it comes to donating to these charitable organizations, especially when you're talking to your clients about them, because we're very passionate. Americans are very passionate and very giving, and we want to help our fellow man. And since most of us, most Americans are not itemizing because the standard deduction is so high, well, for your clients who are over age 70 and a half, if they want to give anyway, they can give via the qualified charitable distribution. And you can work it out with these organizations on how to get the money there. The beauty of the qualified charitable distribution is that it reduces the size of the IRA. Two, it's not part of taxable income. And three, it can fulfill the RMD. So the suggestion is for clients subject to RMDs, do the QCD first, and then they can take an RMD if they want to, or if they don't need it, have the entire RMD go to charity. That's such effective tax planning because for most of our clients, they're not getting a tax benefit for making a cash contribution because they're not itemizing. Most Americans are not itemizing. And I think the statistic is less than 10% of our clients are itemizing. Now, if your client wants to make a very large donation, or they can, contribute appreciated stock or something like that, that's great, but make sure it's enough to take advantage of the itemized deductions. Here's some resources here. The first one is the press release from the IRS on October 1st, information release 2024-253. This is the press release that gives us the specific guidance for the Helene relief and for the postponement to May 1st. Publication 547, Casualties, Thefts, Disasters, and Deaths. Very helpful IRS publication. Highly recommend that. Also, IRS Form 4684, Casualties and Thefts, and with the instructions too. Also, very, very helpful. What's very helpful about these instructions is to help your clients document whatever we're putting on the Form 4684, because the likelihood of an audit is really high, because many cases, these numbers are very large. So we want to make sure we follow all the rules and have it documented. So if the IRS does decide to audit the disaster claim, not a problem. We've got the backup for it. Next is a link to the FEMA website, specifically to Hurricane Helene, talking about the relief efforts and what kind of grants you might be able to apply for. The Tax Relief and Disaster Situations page on the IRS website is sorted by year and by location, so you can click on that to see if it affects your specific client. IRS news from around the nation. These are state-specific guidance, so you can click on your state to see how that affects you. Disasterassistance.gov is a very good resource. I always think it's a great idea to look at it before any disasters happen, but go there for any disaster guidance. The next one's bulk requests from practitioners for disaster relief. So if you are a tax professional or you're an accountant and you're located in these affected areas, but your clients are not, they still get the relief because you're affected by it. So this link gives you specific guidance on how to complete the bulk requests. Basically, it's a spreadsheet You put your client's name and social security number and other pertinent information. And this guidance tells you exactly how to format the spreadsheet, and then you upload it to the IRS website. So more and more of our documentation, we give it to the IRS via the document upload tool because IRS doesn't do very good correspondence. Hasn't been for the last few years. So this is a great way of doing that. So remember, if you're located in either of these locations, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, and Tennessee, your clients will get their relief. So, for example, you have a client in California. Well, your clients in California on their federal return will get this May 1st relief deadline. However, it won't apply to the state return, but at least we can take advantage of that for the federal return. So the IRS, I think this is new. I don't recall seeing this previously in the previous disaster relief guidance. So something we should definitely consider and take advantage of. This page has all the FinCEN notices regarding the specific hurricanes: Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Debbie, Hurricane Beryl, and Tropical Storm Francine. So, yeah, please contact your congressman, see if he gets a relief for the BOI filings too. So thank you for coming today, and thank you for watching this. If there's other topics you'd like to see me cover, let me know. I really enjoy doing this. I hope this was helpful, and I hope this inspires you and your clients to help our fellow men affected in these areas with all those great organizations try to provide relief, because our thoughts are with all those people who are affected. I mean, we lost a lot of people, over 200 so far, I think, but sadly, I think that number is going to grow. So we got some work to do, and we're not done with hurricane season yet. So hang on tight, and I'll give you a further update if there's more to come. Well, thank you for today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.